Hello, everyone, and good afternoon. My name is Michael Fortin. I'm the Director of Promotion for the Maine Tax Portal here at Maine Revenue Services. I'm joined by our panelist, Lisa Grayton, Deputy Director of the Income and Estate Tax Division, and it's my pleasure to be your MC for our Real Estate Controlling Interest webinar for Originators, providing an overview of the new Maine Tax Portal that will become available on October 15th, 2024, which marks our fourth and final rollout of the Maine Tax Portal. The portal is now open for individuals and most Maine businesses to file and pay taxes, view notices, and much more. You can visit the Maine Tax Portal information page at the following address, and I'll give you this address a couple of times, and you'll get it throughout the webinar today, maine.gov/revenue/portal. I'll give that to you again, Maine, that's maine.gov/revenue/portal. You can visit that page and learn a whole bunch about the Maine Tax Portal, and we will demonstrate that page later this afternoon. Before we get started with our presentation, I have a few housekeeping items to review with everyone. First, the raise hand button at the bottom of your Zoom screen will not be used for today's session, although you'll have many opportunities to ask questions. Attendees can ask questions by using the Q&A button at the bottom of your Zoom screen. And Lisa will answer as many questions as possible live, but if we're unable to get to all the questions today, we will follow up via email following the webinar. There may be times when you'd like Lisa to repeat a step that you've missed, or perhaps you're simply unable to watch the entire session today. Therefore, it'll be helpful to know that today's webinar is being recorded and can be viewed by anyone who's registered. We'll be sending out a link to watch the recording tomorrow in your email. And there are no documents or presentation materials that you'll need for today's webinar. Feel free to take notes, but know you can always rewatch the recorded session anytime you'd like to review the material. And finally, we should be reminded there could be unexpected technical challenges. We need to remember that Lisa is speaking to you live, and therefore we appreciate your understanding and ask for your patience if we should experience any technical difficulties. That wraps up all of our housekeeping items, but before we get started, one last point is along with Lisa, we have a team of people that are helping with the demonstration today. We have Heather, Rachel, a different Lisa, and Sam, all helping with the demonstration. So we'd like to thank them for their assistance as well. Lisa, let's get started.
Okay. Hello, and thank you for joining our presentation today. We are very excited to demonstrate the transfer tax declaration process using our new online application, the Maine Tax Portal. Today's session will focus on the originator side of the process. We will have future training sessions focused on the registry and municipality sides of the process. Now, you might be wondering if you are an originator. Maine Revenue Services defines an originator as an agent who is required to file a transfer tax declaration, such as an attorney, title company employee, or any other person who assists in the transfer of Maine real property. If you fit that description, then you are in the correct Maine Tax Portal training session. We will cover 7 topics during today's presentation. First, we will discuss the transition timeline from the current online transfer tax filing system to the new Maine Tax Portal system. Second, we'll demonstrate how an originator would create a Maine Tax Portal username, allowing the submission of electronic transfer tax declarations. Third, we will demonstrate how to submit a real estate transfer tax declaration using the Maine Tax Portal. Fourth, we'll demonstrate how to submit a foreclosure transfer tax declaration using the Maine Tax Portal. Fifth, we'll demonstrate how to view a rejected transfer tax declaration and make any needed corrections for resubmission to the Registry of Deeds. Sixth, we'll demonstrate how an originator would search their own submissions. And 7, we will review how to use the public search functionality for real estate transfer tax declarations. As you can see, we have a lot to discuss and demonstrate today. Please add your questions to the Q&A portion at any time, and we will respond to you. Also, please know that if you miss the transition dates or a section of the presentation, you can rewatch the recorded session as many times as needed once you receive the recording link in your email tomorrow. All right, let's get started. The current online transfer tax filing system is displayed on your screen now, along with a message about the transition timeline in the yellow portion of the screen. I'll summarize the applicable portion of the message for you now. An originator may use this current online system to submit or correct a transfer tax declaration through 5 p.m. on Friday, October 4th. An originator may still provide paper transfer tax declarations directly to the Registry of Deeds office through close of business of registry offices on Friday, October 11th. Registry officials will still have access to the current online system through 5 p.m. on Thursday, October 10th, providing registries with the additional time to accept and record declarations that were previously submitted by an originator. Any in-progress declarations that are not accepted by a registry office by 5 p.m. on Thursday, October 10th, will not be transferred to the new Maine tax portal system, so please plan accordingly. A new Maine tax portal submission or a paper submission would be required. To summarize the transition in other words, any originator that provides an electronic submission in the current online system on or before 5 p.m. on October 4th must have registry approval by 5 p.m. on a Thursday, October 10th. If they do not have registry approval by 5 p.m. on Thursday, October 10th, they will need to resubmit that form using another method. An originator may begin to use the Maine tax portal on Tuesday, October 15th to submit new electronic transfer tax declarations. Please note that Monday, October 14th is a federal and state holiday. The transition message also mentions that any existing Inform Me account usernames will not transfer to the Maine tax portal. Let's navigate to the portal now, and we will demonstrate the steps an originator will take on October 15th to create a new username. So you can access the Maine tax portal in two different ways. Directly from the MRS website at maine.gov/revenue and locate the Electronic Services drop-down menu, or on the same MRS website using the green Maine tax portal square. Once we are on the portal, we notice an area in the upper right side of the screen where we can log in with a username and a password. We will use this once we've created our username. We also see a link to create a username in that same area of the screen. For purposes of an originator, we do not want to use this link. Again, restating for clarification, we do not want to use this create a username link in the upper right location. Instead, we scroll down the page, noticing panels of additional topics and actions we could take. We navigate to the Property Taxes panel, and we click on the link labeled Register a Real Estate Transfer Tax Originator. I would like to pause now to emphasize that if you are attempting to follow along today on our portal website, you will not be able to access these links yet. They will go live for public use on October 15th, but we are providing you with a sneak peek from our testing environment today. All right, back to the demonstration. We can see the instructions provided on the screen, which inform us that by continuing, we will create an originator username. We do want to do this, so we select Next to proceed. We enter the first and last name of our fictitious originator, and then we'll select Next to continue. We'll now enter John's address. Now, please note that we are using the MRS physical address for demonstration purposes today. Once we've entered the address, we are required to verify that the address meets U.S. postal formatting requirements by clicking the blue Verify link. And once it's verified, we can see the message changes to verified. We proceed to the next screen. We're now prompted to create our username and also to input the first and last name again to confirm our earlier entry. We also input John's email address twice for confirmation. And please note we're using the property tax email and telephone number throughout today's demonstration for your convenience. And we're going to say no to paperless mail delivery. Next, we must create our password. And there is an information link which provides information for MRS password requirements. So we'll close out of that and enter our password twice for confirmation. We now choose a secret question from the list and input the answer. And lastly, we must input the phone number for John. And please note this telephone type defaults to cell phone. That can be changed if desired. And we just take one last moment to confirm everything on the screen appears as intended, and then we will click submit. We're now prompted to input John's valid email address twice more. This acts as a signature and confirmation that we truly intend to create this originator username. And once completed, we'll click OK. And we receive a confirmation message for our submission. So now we've created John's username. We're going to go back to the portal and log in and then submit a transfer tax declaration. So we'll input the username and password that we just created into the username portion of the screen. Since this is our first login, we are prompted to set up the two-step verification method that best suits our needs. We prefer to receive text messages of our security code, so we choose the Add Phone link in the text message panel. Then we input the phone number and telephone carrier, and we select Save. In a non-testing environment, you would receive a text message with your security code, which you would input here. In our testing environment, we're going to click the populate link to simulate that security code, and then we'll choose confirm. And the screen gives us another option to set up a second verification method. We don't wish to do that today, so we will just confirm our choice. So please note that all users will be required to set up that two-step verification method once, but will be required to input the new code generated each time they log in. So now we can see we're logged in for John Jones in his originator account, and there are several panels of transfer tax types, as well as specific actions we could take visible on the screen. Let's begin by submitting a real estate transfer tax or RET declaration. We click the Submit a RET Declaration link. We begin by entering the grantee or purchaser information. Please note the red asterisks on the screen, which signify required fields. We will be required to input this data before continuing. So we've already entered the physical address for the grantor after they purchase this property, and we must verify it. Which we've done. So we see that confirmation there. We then move to the table at the bottom of the screen where we input the information for all grantees or purchasers. We input the data directly into the table by clicking on the first cell in the name column, and we enter John Ross. We see the ID type and ID are the next columns. Because John is an individual person, MRS does not require input of his social security number. There is a second purchaser, so we move to the next row and enter Jane Ross. And before we move on, I do want to address two frequently asked questions regarding this screen. The first is to reiterate that MRS does not want you to input a social security number for a person. If the entity were a business with an EIN, we would want that to be input. A question arose in our last session about a grantor trust who uses their grantor's SSN. You would input the trust name and their EIN if they have one. You would not input the grantor's SSN in place of an EIN. Secondly, MRS is aware that we do not have a point of entry for a separate address for each of these purchasers. We are working towards a fix for this. However, we will go live on October 15th with only one address field for the purchaser. And in a few moments, you'll see the seller screen, which also will only have one address for the seller. So please be patient with us as we make that adjustment. Okay, thank you for pausing on that screen, Heather. We can now continue to the next. So we see a similar format on the grantor seller screen where we input the seller's mailing address, their municipality, state, and zip code, and additionally ensuring that we verify the address. And in the grantor sellers table, we'll input Billy White, our sole seller, and we'll click Next to continue. We are now asked to input the physical location of the property. This is required, but the information you input depends upon the information available for that property. If this is a location with a U.S. postal mailing address, you would input the recognized U.S. postal street address. If this location does not have a designating mailing address, you are most likely going to input a map, plan, or lot designation. Today, we will input a fictitious map 1 lot 3 location. We also designate that this property is in Kennebec County and in the town of Augusta. And we'll choose Next to continue. We are now asked to provide specific information regarding this property. We do know there are existing maps for the property based on our input on the prior screen, so we choose yes. This is not a sale with multiple parcels, and this is not a portion of a parcel, so we answer no to these questions. We also enter map 1 and lot 3 on the applicable lines. And next, we designate the type of property that is being transferred. So when we click into the field, we see the menu has many choices. This property is a residential rural type. Clicking on that label allows it to populate the field. We then add the acreage of 1.5 acres, and we select Next to continue. We are given the opportunity to list additional municipalities if our transferred property was located in more than one municipality. This is also where we would indicate additional lots if this were a multi-lot sale. Our property does not meet this criteria, so we simply select Next to continue. We are asked if either the grantor or grantee is claiming an exemption from transfer tax. The screen contains a link to the property tax website if you desire more information on exemptions from Bulletin 31. Please notice that if we select yes to the exemption claim, we are asked to identify the reason from a menu of specific exemptions. In our transfer, there is no exemption that applies, so we will choose no instead. We are asked to input the purchase price for this transfer. We input $150,000. Next, we are asked to input the adjusted assessed value. This term is new for the RET form being released for Rollout 4, and the definition can be viewed by clicking on the blue label to access the tooltip. The font is really small, so I'll read it to you now. Adjusted assessed value is the most recent municipal assessed value divided by the municipality's certified ratio for that property tax year. In the case that a transaction involves multiple parcels, this is the total adjusted value of all parcels. Let's exit the tooltip now, and we'll input $200,000 for the adjusted assessed value. We are now asked if this sale has any special circumstances to report. Please note that the registry may reject your submission if they are unclear on which amount the tax will be computed on. We answer yes to this question, and type the circumstances in the text box. We input gift of partial equity to nephew. And we select next to continue. Now we must input the date of transfer. You may use the calendar icon to select a date, or you may type the date directly into the field. We will enter 9/30/2024. We also answer no to the property classification question and select next. We are asked a few more questions about the transfer. The sellers are Maine residents, so we answer yes. No waiver has been received from the state tax assessor, and this is not a foreclosure sale. We then select next. The declaration screen requires the originator filing this declaration return to check the box to declare that the information in this submission is true and correct to the best of their knowledge. We then input the name of the person completing the declaration, twice for confirmation, and then we select Submit to transmit this declaration to the applicable Registry of Deeds office for review. A confirmation screen displays the confirmation number and the assigned document locator number for this submission. MRS recommends you save this information for your records. Another item of note on this screen is the Printable View button. Let's click on Printable View now, and we watch a PDF version of the information we just input become viewable. The testing watermark will not be present on your version once we are live. We have this due to use of our testing environment for today's demonstration. Please also note that the registry recording information in the upper right portion of the screen is missing. This electronic declaration form is transmitted to the registry's work queue as soon as an originator submits it, but registry officials need time to review the submission. An originator could choose to print this document or to save it to their computer for their record keeping. Let's exit out of this PDF, and then we'll choose OK to go back to the summary screen of John's logged in originator account. So we've come to the fourth item we want to demonstrate today, which is the submission of a foreclosure transfer tax declaration. So we navigate to that account panel and we can click on the Submit a Foreclosure Transfer Tax Declaration link. We notice an instruction screen which informs us that an attestation form containing signatures from the assigner and assignee will be needed later in this process. The new form appears on your screen now, and it will be available on the Property Tax Division portion of the MRS website on October 15th. The foreclosure transfer tax process still requires signatures from both parties, which is difficult to input online when the declaration is being completed by a third party. This form will be used by the originator to obtain the required signatures and will then be uploaded later in this process. We will demonstrate that momentarily, as we already have a form signed and ready for use. So going to the next screen, we'll input the assigner information here. ABC Incorporated is the name of the assigner entity. We'll input their EIN, as well as their mailing address. And again, we'll verify that address is formatted correctly using the link. And then we'll select Next. Next, we enter the assignee information by clicking on the plus sign in the table at the bottom. Big Bank Incorporated is the name of the assignee entity. We also input their EIN and their mailing address. And we do verify the address again. And then we'll choose Add. If we had other assignees, we would add them to the table with the plus sign link and repeat the steps we just took. We have added the only assignee, so we will select Next to proceed. We're going to input today's date as the date of transfer, and we'll enter the address that is connected with the foreclosure. We'll input 51 Commerce Drive in Augusta, and again, we'll verify the address is formatted properly. Please note that once we verify that, it does populate the municipality field into that required field. We'll select Next to proceed. We select No to the current use classification question here. And there are no other municipalities associated with this property, so we do not add anything into the table at the bottom. We proceed to the next screen. The grantee or assignee does have an exemption from transfer tax, so we select yes to this question. We then select the reason of mortgage deeds, deeds of foreclosure, and deeds in lieu of foreclosure from the drop-down list, and we proceed to the next screen. We are now required to attach the signed attestation form, which we will upload by clicking the Add Attachment button. So we'll choose the file to attach, as well as provide a description. We'll click OK to add that. And we see that that is added successfully with the check mark. So we'll proceed to the next screen. This is the declaration screen, which again requires the originator who's filing this declaration return to check the box declaring the information in the submission is true and correct to the best of their knowledge. And then we input the name of the person filing the form twice for confirmation and select Submit to transfer this to the Registry of Deeds office. A confirmation screen displays the confirmation number and the assigned document locator number, which we recommend that you save for your records. So now we're going to transition to the fifth item on our agenda, how an originator will be notified of a rejected RET declaration, how they will locate that rejected RET, and how to correct and resubmit it or how to delete it. When a registry rejects a RET submission for a correction, they input a specific reason for the rejection. The registry can select from a list of standardized reasons provided within the main tax portal application, or they can use the other reason and type in a more detailed note in a free text field. When a rejection occurs, the originator that submitted the declaration will receive a generic email that a rejection has occurred, as well as a portal message of the rejection. The originator would need to log into their portal account to view the specific reason for rejection and details about the transfer. Let's log in as another originator now as Bob Smith. We'll enter the username B. Smith and his password, and we'll select Login, and we'll simulate his security code with the populate link and confirm. So once logged in, we can see that we have two outstanding items in our Action Center. Let's click on Action Center now to view the items. We see that we have a message regarding a rejected declaration that is awaiting our review and another message. If we click on the other message at the bottom, and then we'll receive this menu here, and let's click on that first unread message. We can simply see that it's a portal record of the email that was sent to Bob previously. So we just wanted to point out that this is a handy one-stop location for all portal messages sent to you, just in case it gets lost within your email. Let's click on the main text portal logo at the top of the screen, and that returns us to the summary screen. If we did not want to go into the Action Center, we could just choose to access the transfer tax type we wish to view the rejections for directly. In this case, we will look at a rejected RET by clicking on View Rejected RET Declarations. A table of any rejected RET declarations appears. There may be multiple reasons for a rejection to occur. Perhaps the originator was expecting this rejection since they knew the transfer of real estate fell through and called the registry to reject it. In this case, the originator will likely want to delete the declaration. We can do this by clicking on the Delete link in the far column of the first row. We are provided an opportunity to understand that the choice to delete is final and cannot be reversed. We select Yes and then submit our delete item. We receive a confirmation message for that action. All right, let's go back to that View Rejected RET Declaration link again. And we see that the table has the one remaining item on it. If we click the Rework link on that remaining item, we can review the submission and the rejection explanation. In this instance, the registry indicated the rejection was per submitter and an incorrect address was entered. We do have the information to correct that property address now, so we'll proceed by selecting Next. We step through each screen until we reach the one containing the property location. We change the entry from 10 Main Street to 50 Main Street. And since this is the only change we wanted to make, we then proceed through the remaining screens until we reach the declaration. At this declaration, we are required to check the box declaring that the information is true and correct to the best of our knowledge, and we input the name of the person who is filing this declaration twice to confirm. And then we hit the Submit choice to transmit the corrected declaration back to the Registry of Deeds office. That confirmation number displays the confirmation number and assigned document locator number for this submission, which we do recommend that you keep for your records. The sixth component of today's presentation is how an originator may search their transfer tax declaration submissions. To do this, we locate the declaration search in the customer panel of the summary screen. We click on this link and a search screen displays. The search allows many criteria to be input. For instance, you could input the document locator number or DLN directly. Let's input the DLN of 14092. And we'll click the search button. We can see the item display in the results table at the bottom. Let's click on the DLN number to view the submission. So we could scroll through to view the information. Now let's close this window and go back to the results table. We also see a print link on the far right side. Let's click on that now. A PDF of the RET declaration appears, and we could choose to print it from here. Let's close out this PDF. And let's clear the DLN from that search parameter. And we'll take a look at a few other features. We could also choose to search by street address, transfer dates, or by status. Let's input a street address of Lot 12, Commerce Drive. And then we'll click the search button. We can see the results displayed at the bottom of the screen, and we could click the link to view the details. One important takeaway is that an originator may not edit a submitted document. If there is an error on the submission, an originator may contact the registry for rejection of that transfer tax declaration. Lastly, we will take a quick look at the public search functionality. Since the public search is public, it is not a logged in function, so we are logging out of Bob's account. And now we've returned to the main screen of the main tax portal. Let's navigate down to the Property Taxes panel, and we can locate the RET D public search link. Clicking on this brings up a search screen similar to the one we were just looking at. We can immediately see a warning that the county is a required field if the book and page are not filled in. We can also see a variety of other search parameters we could use, such as municipality, minimum and maximum purchase price, and transfer dates. In the interest of time, we will not demonstrate an actual search today. We will, however, point out that the declarations must be finalized through both the registry recording process and the MRS final review before the RET-D will appear in the public search results. Any in-progress or rejected declarations will not be viewable by the public, which is the same practice used over the last dozen years on the current MRS public search page. That concludes today's transfer tax declaration as it pertains to originators. I'll toss it back to Mike now for some important closing announcements. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. We would like to invite our audience to take this opportunity to ask any questions you may have and to send those in to us. Use the Q&A button on the bottom of your screen, and we'll allow you a few extra minutes to get those in. And while we're waiting, let's take a look at the main tax portal information page, which contains a lot of helpful information. And right now we're looking at the Maine Revenue Services homepage. The address is maine.gov/revenue, and we'll scroll down the page and you'll see the heading Important Updates. And below that, there are some links. We're going to click the second link from the top, which says Important Information about the Maine Tax Portal. That brings us right to the Maine Tax Portal information page. And if you'd like to bypass the Maine Revenue Services homepage, you can type it in directly into the address bar, maine.gov/revenue/portal. That's the same address I provided at the beginning of today's session. And it's a great place to go to learn all about the Maine Tax Portal. We're going to take a look and see what this offers for everybody. So at the top of the page is a general introduction about the portal itself. And if you scroll down a bit, we'll see there's a video there, which provides a short overview of the portal. If you've not seen that video, if you're brand new to the Maine Tax Portal, it's a great place to start. And then beneath that are 4 boxes, rollout 1, 2, 3, and 4. So each rollout or each phase of the Maine Tax Portal is shown here. So you can see the different tax types that were implemented during each rollout. It started with October of 2021 and brings us right up to the last and the 4th and final rollout of the Maine Tax Portal coming in October. And we hover over the box there and we can see all of the taxes that are soon to be brought into the portal. So if you're interested in looking at that in more detail, you can visit the page and check it out. Underneath, we'll see some blue buttons here. I'll just talk about these. The Maine Tax Portal login button is the first. That provides an easy way for you to jump from this page over to the portal itself to perform any logged in or non-logged in activities on the system. The next button is FAQs. We're going to click that button and take a look. So individuals like yourselves who have joined us for webinar sessions and sent in your questions, we have summarized those questions and the answers to those questions and organized them and put them on this page here. So anything that gets submitted to us, either in today's session or in future sessions, it'll all make their way on to this one area where you can conveniently find them. If there's a question that's on your mind that, maybe after today's webinar is done and you think of a question, I would bet there's a good chance it might be in this list. But go ahead and use that as a great resource to learn all about the Maine Tax Portal. We're going to click back now. And the next button are instructional videos. We'll click that. So we do have a number of different short narrated videos that demonstrates different features and functions of the Maine Tax Portal. They're all organized here in various topics, so they're easy to find, and those are available to you, of course, anytime, day or night. And It's a great way to learn about how the portal works, especially if you're new to a certain area. So we'll click back now. And we'll point out there's another couple buttons there. One in particular is the tax professionals button. If you work with a tax professional, or if you are a tax professional, there's information in there that will help introduce your clients to the main tax portal and ease that transition. And at the bottom of the page, the olive green colored section is ways in which you can engage with us through webinars. We have the upcoming webinars area where you can register for sessions that are still ongoing throughout the fall. And feel free to, if you've already seen or participated in a session, you would like to repeat it, feel free to do that. We also have recordings of past webinars. So if you missed out on any of the webinars that we offered for prior rollouts, for example, if you were interested in sales tax and wanted to learn about the sales tax rollout, there's a webinar in there that will give you a review of an overview of that tax and how it works within the portal. So it's always there and available to you. At the end of this series of webinars this fall, we will be posting the videos on the property tax topics there as well. But those of you in today's session do not have to wait. You will get a link in your inbox tomorrow with a link to the website where you can view a recording anytime you'd like. Finally, let's talk about contact information, because on the page right underneath the rollout boxes, you'll see an email address and a phone number. So if you have questions about how to create a username or a password, or just general questions about the portal, the system itself, our taxpayer contact center has a team of people that are trained and experts in this area, and they can help you. So their phone number and email address is there. I'll read it a couple of times. It's 207-624-9784. Again, 207-624-9784. Their email address is taxpayerassist@maine.gov. I'll read that again, taxpayerassist@maine, MAINE.gov. If you have questions that are specific to on property tax topics for the property tax division, it is best to contact them directly and they can help you. So the property tax phone number, it is not listed on this page, but I'm going to give it to you, is 207-624-5600. Again, the phone number for property tax is 207-624-5600. And their email address is prop.tax, that's PROP.tax, at Maine, MAINE.gov. Again, prop.tax at Maine.gov. Thank you. So I think that covers all of the information I had in regards to the Maine Tax Portal information page. I don't know, let me see, any open questions. There were some questions that were presented today, and we appreciate that, and the answers are now posted and in there. So we're going to go ahead and move to close out today. There are a few important things that we want to highlight before everybody moves on to the rest of their day. First, I want to thank Lisa for a great job, great presentation. I also want to thank Lisa, Heather, Sam, and Rachel in the background, who were very helpful in helping with the Maine tax portal demonstration today. And especially want to thank all of the attendees for taking the time out of your afternoon to come join us and learn all about the Maine tax portal. We want to remind everyone that today's webinar has been recorded and can be viewed by anyone who would like to see the material. We will be sending out a link to the recording. It'll be in your inbox tomorrow. And if we do have any questions that are outstanding, we will follow up with you via email following the webinar, and happy to help in any way that we can. We want to recap those few important points that we highlighted today. Is that the Maine tax portal is now open for individuals and most Maine businesses to file, pay taxes, view notices, and much more. And that real estate controlling interest for originators will go live on October 15th, 2024. And you can visit the Maine Tax Portal information page to learn all about the portal and to access the resources I showed you, the instructional videos and the FAQs and webinars and everything there. Again, that address is maine.gov/revenue/portal. And if you would like to get some assistance from the Taxpayer Contact Center in regards to usernames and passwords or questions about the portal itself, you can contact them. Their phone number is 207-624-9784, and their email address is taxpayerassist@maine.gov. And for those questions, that should be directed to the Property Tax Division directly. Their telephone number is 207-624-5600, and their email address is prop.tax@maine.gov. We want to thank everybody again for joining us. We will now conclude today's webinar, and we wish you all a great rest of your day.